One. All right. Welcome, folks. Welcome to the program. Views from the 22. Sunday edition, wild card playoffs, round two. I am Mo Schefter. We got Jerem Sochu and Vic Jr. on the line. We're going to wait for a few people to join us. Fellas, say what's up to the people.
Sup?
I'm gonna need a little more energy from you, True, when we start rolling.
Look, man, I'm here, man. True man in the Falls World, reporting live here from Cleveland, Ohio, or the OH and the Dime, as they call it. I don't know, man. Listen, yesterday kind of disappointed me a little bit, man. I didn't like a couple of things that I was hearing from some coaching staffs during the games or through the week of preparation. Also, man, ultimately, man, I really felt like, I felt like the Texans could have played a lot better, especially offensively. I do know that they were banged up, no Will Fuller, no Demaryius Thomas, who still was relatively new to everything that's going on. But all in all, man, I was a little disappointed with how they played defensively. Man, you asked that defense to do a tall task, which was to hold Andrew Luck to 21 points. And I got the 21 points part right. It's just that I missed on the other 20 points for the Texans. They can't all be tens. So with that being said, man, besides that, man, I got to be real with y'all, man. I was still utterly disappointed last night with the way Russell Wilson played, man. The more I keep going back and looking at it, man, he just has to play better, man. Period, man. They gonna have some interesting takes on Russ, man. I'm gonna have a film session. We'll have a film session for him because I've been talking about Russ for some years now, man. So it's gonna be interesting, man.
Yeah, I mean, certainly, like when you look at the Dallas game, and we'll get more into this as the show goes on, or maybe a little later in the week. But the most surprising thing to me, at least, was Seattle's inability to run the football. And now that's definitely shout out to Dallas. They played a very good football game, and relatively complimentary football game, really on both sides. It's just Russell Wilson was supposed to pay one compliment, and he just never did, really. Vic, say what's up to the people and give us your condensed views on what you saw yesterday.
Yeah, Vic Jr., man. I'm somewhere in the tri-state area. I ain't giving out my location. You know what I mean? Tri-state area, northeast. That's where we at. No sir. Yeah, man. The Cowboys game. We highlighted yesterday how the linebackers, whether they were going to be effective or not in terms of Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch. But the front four for the Dallas Cowboys definitely showed up yesterday. They were in the backfield constantly. They not only pressured Russell pretty well, which you can expect from that offensive line as they struggle in pass blocking. But what was surprising to me was how much they struggled in the run blocking as well. Again, you had Collins in the backfield. You had Crawford in the backfield. You had DeMarcus Lawrence in the backfield. Everybody had a part in the backfield for that front four for Dallas, and that was very important for them in that win. And they're gonna need that same effort, that same energy in the next couple of weeks, because that was definitely a huge part of that win.
Absolutely.
And Mr. 1 Cent obviously, which we see from the limited snaps that he took, he was actually their better option per se to use in this particular game, like we highlighted on the live yesterday. He just gives a different dynamic with his speed and his quickness, and the ability to be a creative runner is very, very dangerous because, as we said, they can press a hole, but they can also bounce. And they can do different things. Also, they're not really worried about the first guy. They're already looking at the second and third guy. That's important in those type of matchups, man. So moving forward, we're going to Seattle. You have now, as they would say on NBA TV, gone fishing. So Seattle, it's time to grab y'all hooks and see if y'all can snag yourself a real quarterback. I mean, a couple things. But anyway, And then shout out to my guy. Shout out to my guy Dennis King, who's on the live. Shout out to my guy Trav on the line, and A-Walk. What's up, brother? Hey, Dennis, man, we got some film today for your ass, brother.
Yeah, man. We got a full show for y'all, really and truly. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties from yesterday's show, but we do expect this show to be much smoother. As always, we're here to get better in all three phases. So I'm gonna just give y'all a rundown real quick, so we can get through these as quick as possible and have y'all out of here somewhere around noon o'clock. Yes, I said noon o'clock. So we're going to show y'all some of the Baltimore run offense. We're going to show y'all some of Baltimore's passing offense. Then we're going to move over to the Chargers run offense and then show you how maybe Derwin James can play a key factor in neutralizing or at least slowing down that high-powered run offense of the Ravens. And then we're going to move on to the next game, the NFC showdown between the Bears and the Eagles. And we're going to talk about what we think is the matchup of the weekend, really, in Khalil Mack versus Lane Johnson. So stay tuned. Full show. Let's get started. We're going to get rolling with the Ravens versus the Chargers. Obviously, this is a rematch of the Week 17 season. And we're just going to show a few plays here. This is 1st and 10, first quarter. And really what you're going to see is just the wall of blockers that they have out in front. Now, I understand this is only a 5-yard gain, but we're not looking at the gain. We're looking at how the offensive line executed this play. What do we always say, boys? No beef, no Lombardi. And the Ravens run beef is certainly good enough to lead this running attack right into February. So watch here. You get the guard pulling.
Tight ends pulling.
And then really look at this right here. This is really what I want to highlight. I mean, you just have all these blockers, and you have all this space to work with. Now, the running back didn't do the best job here. Like I said, that's not the point. And now to show something about the Chargers, what I want you to keep an eye on, really, who ends up making this play is Brandon Mebane right here. And shout out to Contenders 10 in the comments section. This is FSU's finest at its finest right here, and we're going to show a few more plays of Derwin James later. But this really is a good play to show the matchup. First, you get a wall of blockers out in front. Really, this play should have been, if you would have just hit this hole, this should have been, and as Germ So True would say, he'd have still been running. But he hesitates a little bit, and then you can see Brandon Mebane and Derwin James. They end up making this play. You see Brandon Mebane right there. He gets off his block, and that's really impressive for a big man to not only get off the block, but make the tackle on an outside stretch play like this. And then Derwin maintaining that gap integrity we always talk about, and they ended up making a good tackle. But for the Ravens, you see all that. You see all that, the convoy of blockers out in front of them. On the next play, same thing. They show you a lot of action. They're going to do a lot of motions. And most important thing is they're going to get a hat on a hat. And what Lamar Jackson does, when you have a quarterback who can run the ball, you're going to end up with more blockers than people trying to
stop it.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to slow it down here. And just let y'all see it. Vic, Jeremy, is there anything you want to add to this play? But we got a lot to show y'all, so we're just going to try and
get thing we want to add is on these type of plays, as we see, it is really, really important that when we see that our linebacking cores are reading, reacting, and finishing, like we always say. When you read it, you have to see it, react. You need to go where you see, and then you need to finish, make the tackle, period. If they're not doing that consistently, then this type of thing is pretty much one of those plays where you have to take the fight to them in the running game. This Baltimore Ravens offense, bro, you have to take the fight to that offense. You have to hit them in the mouth consistently for 60 minutes and tell them you're not going to dictate the line of scrimmage, and that's what you have to do moving forward. I want to see that in this game. The Chargers played them the best actually throughout the last 7-8 games that they played with Lamar Jackson. So we're going to see exactly if they can build on that and get some offensive production to help them this time.
Right. And really the Achilles heel for the Chargers in that first game was that they just gave up a few big plays, as you saw here. And actually, we're going to show you one more big play later on when we get to the Derwin James study. But you can see it's a lot of action, it's a lot of motion, it's a lot of just making sure you get a hat on a hat, get as much guys blocking as guys trying to pursue, and just executing. And then that's really what they're doing. It's a lot to prepare for, and it's a lot to handle because they're so physical. And then really it's hard to kind of gauge a real tendency for what they do. Yes, they do a lot of things, and yes, you can get tendencies, but the problem is, as we always talk about, you got to get tendency breakers. And you could think you have a perfect defense or a perfect team or whatever, but in the NFL, if you don't have tendency breakers, you're not going to be able to hit big plays, especially in the playoffs. So the focus on this play is the motion of Willie Snead and how the Chargers defense reacts. And again, there's ample evidence to show you of this, but because of the time, we only got to show you one or two plays just to really highlight it. But I promise y'all, there's plenty to show from in these plays in of this nature. So now I'm going to jump ahead to this next play. And this is what we call tendency breakers right here. So again, you could see you got the two wide receivers to the left side. You can see the motion, see how the defense reacts, and that's what gets the guy to be wide open. Motion, defense reacts. They think, oh, we know what's coming. Oh, never mind. We don't know what's coming. They're going to pass. Linebacker falls because he's completely out of position. Easy throw.
He tried to hold him and everything.
He dove at him and everything. That was crazy.
Was that Vic?
That he dove at him and everything to try to hold that receiver from getting a release out.
Right.
Across the field.
Because
he just realized what was happening too late.
I've never seen that before.
Hey, now watch this. Watch this. You do realize Lamar probably wasn't even looking at that receiver. He probably was looking to the flat. As soon as he seen somebody do a back bend, he said, "Whoa, somebody must be open."
No, he's looking right at him.
I was just messing with y'all. I just want to see if y'all was paying attention.
But Germ, since you are so eager to criticize Lamar, here is your opportunity, sir. As we know with Lamar, he has his
flaws.
For lack of better words, what is it?
Flaws, absolutely. And we see a lot of times that he has a hard time making simple throws, and he has a hard time making the throws that he needs to make. So, True, this is the out route to Hurst. This is your play. Yeah. On this particular play, what you're going to notice is they have their motion, and they do everything. They show the same formation that they have been showing the Browns, particularly in this game, often. And they get a lot of out routes from the tight end positions and the guys on the end of the line of scrimmage to whatever side of the formation they decided they're going to. Normally, you'll notice it's normally to the right side of the formation for whatever reason. Sometimes they mix in the left side, or the middle, but it's normally the right side of the formation for the most part because it's a right-handed quarterback. You'll notice right here that this young man didn't even attempt to even throw it to the receiver. He was just throwing it pretty much out of bounds. But it all is predicated on the feet and on the follow through of where he does it. What Lamar Jackson has is like a release where it's like a snap of his wrist. It's similar to that of like how Michael Vick used to throw the ball from the left hand. And that little doohickey hitch, we're going to call it, I think that throws off in some of the timing in general. But look at his footwork right here. See that foot and how he's kind of he's on his toe leaning forward. And that in itself, he's not generating any force to be able to make a compact throw, to be able to get the ball to the spot efficiently, effectively, and pretty much using his legs, which a throw is still as much, just like a free throw, It's still majority of your legs that dictate where the ball goes and how much force you generate from the ball as well. It's not all shoulder.
Of course not. It's like a good hook in boxing. It all comes from the lower body.
And you see how that ball sails? That was a sail. He threw a sailboat. That's what he did. It was a sailboat. For all the kids in the audience, Lamar Jackson likes sailboats. So those are the type of throws that we want. That in order for him to clean that up, we need him to be a little bit better, more compact with his delivery. We need him to step into throws, meaning step into the throw. We need toe. Vic, correct me if I'm wrong, because I know you're the scout extraordinaire here. I'm just a man trying to get paid like the rest of them. You got toe, ball, heel, and flip your hips. Does that make sense?
Sure. I mean, sounds good.
Hey, look, man, I defer. In my department, we just be innovative and creative, and Vic is the extraordinaire, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want a situation. It's the same thing as a pitcher. You don't want a situation where your hips are coming out, are turning way before your arm is coming in and things like that. Again, with Lamar, you see at times like his arm is not, when he's throwing, it's not compact. Like it's very what's the word? It's not it's elongated. Yeah, very elongated release and stuff like that. And then that's why you see a lot of times where the ball is sailing. He just doesn't have that short, compact release that you would like to see from a quarterback and things like that. At times, his hips again are flaring out way before his shoulders and his arm is able to square and have a compact release.
Mm-hmm. So and then he got that. Look at the flick of the wrist. That's what he got.
Here's this next play, and really a lot of the same things that we talked about with just his footwork, the way he throws. And that's why that ball, you could see the first play sailed. Oh, that's not good. You could see the first play sailed. And
I just had to plug mine in.
And the second one, he kind of short hops. Term?
Now, right here on this particular play, because I called for this one for this study in particular. Here's what I want to see from this guy on this play. When he gets the ball here, I want him to take that ball, but I also want him to finish or complete the drop back. That's a half drop back, and then the little bounce that he gives me here, I don't need that. We need to finish the entire drop back, and we need to step or take a hitch and drive that ball into that throwing lane. If you look at it, he throws it very lackadaisical, and it becomes one of those situations where this is why it's behind the receiver.
He wasn't comfortable there. He wasn't confident with that throw. It was like if he didn't, I don't know. It's like if he didn't want to make that throw, man, because for him to basically skip it like that, it's like, he's just not reading something right. And I mean, the Chargers and whoever's in the playoffs are gonna have to get him in situations where he's gonna have to throw more.
Right. And the one thing I just look at his elbow and I just don't like it. And it's a thing where I heard Peyton Manning say, and if Peyton Manning says something about quarterback and you just kind of shut up and listen, he just sort of said not to don't get hung up on the throwing motion if it's accurate. Well, the problem is that he's not accurate.
Uh-huh.
The one thing you see with guys like, again, not to mention Brady so much, but he is the standard. He has a release that comes over the top and that comes above his earlobe. And I was listening to him as well one time talk about how you want the throw to be sort of like from your ear, and he's more throwing it from the chin.
Like I said, he has an elongated release, and it's like a sidearm release. You see how it's like a 3/4 type of release, like they say from a pitcher.
That's the problem.
Vic, you need to show him to see, Vic. Show him to see. Vic, you got to show him to see, baby. Show him to see.
The Tom Brady. That's how Tom Brady throws. He got the C over the top. You see that?
Bro, why does that kill me every time? And I've been over here croaking. I've been over here rolling since I remember last time he did the C. He was like, it's like that C.
Hey,
It's like that C.
just look for it on YouTube, man. Tom talks about his throwing mechanics, how he tries to just have a C, like if he's just throwing a C and stuff like over the top.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey man, look, it's not that you sound like a butthole or nothing. It's just, bro, you were so adamant at it the last time, man. You see his throwing motion? His throwing motion might have got us paid, man.
So now we're going to share some good things about Lamar, and this is one of those good things. This is a throw you're going to see him hit twice, really, and both times against similar coverage. You get that deep crossing route right there by Mark Andrews, and this one is a little late, but it gets there. And then the other one it's a little better of a throw, and it's against the Chargers. A lot happened in this game, and obviously, rematch coming up. It's a good game to see what worked, what didn't. So no, not quite the same coverage, but you do get it. You do get Mark Andrews on a linebacker. Same thing, deep crossing route right between the linebacker and the safety. And this one is a little bit of a harder throw, but it's a much better throw. Hits Mark Andrews in stride and gets him going. So he can make. It's not like he's incompetent of making throws. He can make throws. I mean, you don't get to the NFL unless you're Tim Tebow without being able to complete some throws. But it's not consistent.
Real quick, shout out to Jeffrey for joining us. Good win by your Cowboys yesterday. Your Cowboys. Thanks for joining us. I don't know, because you see it in his college statement too. It's like he's real comfortable throwing to his tight ends, especially between the
tight ends and running backs.
Huh?
Tight ends and running backs.
Yeah, he's real comfortable with those guys. Like, you know, these type of quarterbacks are just gonna struggle with throws outside the numbers, you know, and those are throws that they're gonna have to make consistently against tougher defenses.
Right.
That was a great touch right there. I mean, it just seems to see the field better in between the numbers, in between the hash marks, and make those type of throws.
Also, let me say this as well, real quick, fellas. You said outside the numbers, but we're also going to talk about tight window throws. He's going to struggle with that too, because he doesn't have the compact delivery, and he also, honestly, he just doesn't have the actual confidence that is desired for him to be able to step into the throw and make the big boy throws that we got to make on some of those third downs across over the middle, and then you know, outside the numbers, just like Vic said.
Yeah, and you know, like, dare I say this is a little Baker-esque, Vic? I'm just playing. Let me address something real quick. Let's since we did our New Year's resolutions, this is a little bonus material to that podcast. Can we stop every time a quarterback makes a throw that resembles another quarterback's throw, comparing him to that quarterback? Stop that shit. Lamar Jackson is not comparable to Tom Brady. He's not comparable to Baker Mayfield. He's not comparable to Russell Wilson. He ain't comparable to Peyton Manning. He ain't comparable to anybody. I mean, this shit has got to stop. We see it all across social media. He reminds me of this guy. He reminds me of this guy. If he reminds you of Tom Brady, go watch curling, because football ain't for you.
Damn.
Somebody once told me that his ceiling was they told me his ceiling was Jared Goff.
That makes no sense, Germ. That's like going to a restaurant. Bro, that's like going to a restaurant and asking for a chicken breast medium well. Stop saying shit that don't make sense.
I need a break. I'll be back.
Oh man.
Oh man. Hey man, I mean, hey man, somebody said his floor. What did they? Somebody said his floor was Deshaun Watson. I said, damn. So what the hell is his ceiling?
Oh God.
Man, this is deep.
We got a couple comments. We got one that said Mahomes apparently, and then we got Elton saying, "Don't disrespect my quarterback like that." Exactly. We ain't gonna disrespect Goff like that. That's the whole point of it.
Man, look, man, Dennis. Matter of fact, man, shout out to Dennis, man. Dennis showed me a dude who said the one about Pat Mahomes too. Dennis actually be putting me on to the stupidity of the Ravens nation. Y'all need to do better. Y'all need to do better. Cause this ain't y'all ain't talking y'all no.
Hey Vic,
Yes, sir.
real quick, the timestamp you gave me from this game for Lamar for Derwin James. It was a. I'm trying to get the quarter. It was a 3rd and 2. I guess I can't even understand my own handwriting, yo.
You already
Yeah, I
showed it.
remember
You
seeing
already showed it, bro.
Okay.
man, don't let nobody disrespect your quarterback like that. Stand up.
All
Yo,
right.
yo, and then Dennis keep talking about how he gets kicked out. I'm like, how do you get back in, bro? Explain to the people right now how you even get back in.
He probably is in several different Ravens groups.
Oh.
You know
Yeah.
what it is? You know what it is? Did the admins have to come and they have to explain to him what he got kicked out for because he's objective?
Right. All right.
I be giving
Say that one
like
more
didn't
time, Jerm. Say that one more time.
I mean the admins have to explain to him why he's kicked out because he's being objective. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, hey man, everybody doesn't like to massage another man's, other areas,
Yeah, he said it's just one, so he keeps going back in and getting kicked out. Yo, they kicked me out of that Cowboys group and even invite me in again. So
Yo, I'm gonna start calling Dennis Jazz because
Hey, man, he get kicked out every week. Ah! Yo, y'all is crazy. Wow.
all right. So back to a little football.
Flavor. Oh, sorry.
So we showed a lot of Lamar Jackson in the running game, and obviously the guy that we believe is essential to neutralizing it is Derwin James. So Vic, these are the timestamps that you collected just to show that what really his value is. You could see him right here. Go ahead, Jerry. Go ahead, Vic. It's all you.
no, is this quarter 3, 6:47?
Yeah. Oh, my bad. That's not him.
No, that's not it.
No, it's him making the play. It's right here. It's right here.
Yeah, I think he does make the play here, does he?
Yeah. This is right here.
On Dancer, on Prancer, on Mixin.
Yeah. Now this is a situation where he just reads, reacts, finishes, doesn't let the guy get a block on him. But is this quarter 3 though? The one that I wanted to show was quarter 3, 2nd and 2, 6:47. Right there, 6:47, the second to last. This just kind of shows his burst, his explosiveness, his ability to just basically fly to the football. And they're gonna really need this type of play from him right here. The thing is that the Ravens are countering that with those what we seen earlier. A lot of their pulling guards, but not only pulling guards, but pulling tight ends too. So he's not gonna probably get a lot of free releases, and you saw some of that on their first matchup. But this is again, he's gonna be important to the Chargers having to try to at least contain this run game. But again, you see how he's just able to fly to the football. He takes proper angles, and I mean when he tackles these running backs, man, they go down.
The biggest. Can I just add something really quick?
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I loved about Derwin James scouting him last season was that he gives you so much versatility in your defensive secondary, but not only just that, he can be an extension of your running game or an extension of your passing game or an extension of your blitz package. He can do so many different things. And when you get a player that you can throw down in the box who can spy on quarterbacks with the athletic quarterbacks we have in the league, he can cover tight ends, which he did a hell of a job against Travis Kelce in that Chiefs game on one of those, I believe it's like a stick route that he hit and man, his hips opened up and he pretty much stopped the play immediately. As soon as the ball was out, he was with him, right in his hip pocket. I mean, he gives you so much flexibility, and those players are invaluable in today's NFL. So for him to fall to 17 like he did, it's 16 teams that need to slap themselves 3 times.
Yeah, I mean, we felt like he was such a high draft pick, but obviously what ended up making him drop was all those quarterbacks. But regardless of it, like I don't think there were too many players better than him, and he is showing his value. And his next one is another goal line situation. You saw he made a goal line play against the Bengals. Here it is against the Steelers, Vic.
And this one is you know, it shows how explosive he is and how, you know, when he goes to wrap somebody up, they're going down. James Conner was one of the top running backs in you know, breaking tackles and stuff like that. Very strong running back with a nice strong lower body. He finished a lot of his runs, and again, right here, I mean, proper angle, proper technique. I mean, just explosive, and look how he's just able to bring them down and stuff like that. I mean, he has
in the picture right here. Go ahead. I got you. Go ahead.
no. He just has no regard for his for like his body and nobody else's body, because he's gonna swing that body around just to make these tackles, man. Like he wasn't even in the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Autobots, I'm in pursuit.
Yes, indeed.
Juju, get out the way, brother. Get out, yeah, Juju on the beat.
Those are some broken ankles and twisted kneecaps right there, the way he was flying in there. But the thing is that Ravens, man, they have a very creative run blocking scheme. They got tight ends that are neutralizing this. They got the guards who are pulling. They're running a lot of different types of wham blocks and things like that. That is going to be important to stop Derwin James from flowing to the football like that. So it's going to be tough, man. It really is going to be tough. Like you guys said earlier, the Chargers were the team to defend them better than the other 7 or 8 matchups that they had since Lamar was quarterback. But it's just going to be interesting, man. I don't know. I feel like the Ravens have a chance. As bad as Dennis don't want to hear it, they have a chance to move on after this round.
And to throw this also into the ring of fire as well, Greg Williams last week in week 17 was able to do 2 things. He was able to stop the bleeding and hold them to 6 points in the second half. So what he did was he used the cover 2 shell and he brought his corners and got them involved more with the run game. Mm-hmm. So by doing that, that was able to help them set the edge, seal the edges. And by sealing and setting those edges, it was to force everything back inside. Mm-hmm. And when they did those things, they actually were able to slow down this offense. So what I want to see is I want to see the Chargers use a little bit of that and mix that into what they already knew worked. And I think that'll help contain some of the things that they do on first and second down. Right. If you can contain first and second down against this team, I want to see 3rd and 6s consistently. If you get them to 3rd and 6s and you make Lamar Jackson have to be a passer, they're going to mix in some runs naturally. This is an NFL team. They're going to get some 3rd downs.
And offensively, the Chargers have to score faster. They have to score early in the game. They have to score faster to put that pressure on them having to pass. Here on this play right here, you just kind of see him being used as a blitzer. You know, going right after the quarterback again, explosive, going through the blocks, and you know, Josh Allen, who's a fair enough running quarterback like himself, he had no chance here. But again, just highlighting how explosive and I mean, how big this kid is, man. For somebody his size, like he can really move. And it seems like as much as they try to take him off balance here, he was able to stay on balance and make this and get this sack.
Right. And I mean, to me, when you just look at him on film, really and truly, he is just Cam Chancellor 2.0 in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. But now, ladies and gentlemen, since we promised y'all not to keep y'all too long, we are going to get to the main event, what everybody's been waiting for. The matchup of the week, out of all these matchups, really is Khalil Mack versus Lane Johnson in the Bears and the Eagles game. And we just happened to be able to find some tape from last year, the Eagles Super Bowl winning year, when they played the Raiders and with Nick Foles. This was week 16. And this was really a good matchup. And if I had to declare a winner,
Lane Johnson.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Lane Johnson definitely won this fight. Khalil Mack had a couple plays, certainly. But what you're going to see from Lane Johnson, and really and truly, he's definitely the best right tackle in the game. He's probably the best tackle in the game. It's something we've been saying for a couple years. He's just always played at a high level, and he's a huge catalyst to the Eagles' success, along with obviously Vic's boy Jason Kelsey. But here, the first play of the game, I mean, you're going to notice that Khalil Mack fakes outside, goes inside, and he looks like he got him. But at the end of the day, Lane Johnson did his best. So, fellas, I'm going to just let y'all watch these plays and react to them. I know this is the first time Vic is seeing them, so.
I'm looking at this kick step. Oh, nice little compact. Boom, 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 boom.
Anything you want to add to this, Vic?
Run that back slow.
Nice kicks. Nice start here.
See, he lost the inside shoulder for a second, and he was able to recover.
Right.
That's what's pretty good. I mean, he was able to see that. That's a quick jump step that he did there, and able to recover and get in front of him.
And I mean, that's Khalil Mack. That ain't no slouch. And if we have time, we can even show you something against Von Miller, which made turn our neck, yo. It was ridiculous the way he blocked Von Miller on the one play. But
that was apparently one of Von. You talking about the game that they destroyed the Broncos last year, right? Yeah. That was apparently one of Von Miller's best games according to the PFF guys. But because he did. I think he had 2 sacks and two fumbles.
No, he had 1 sack, 8 tackles, and he had a forced fumble.
So yeah, so he gave Lane some fits. It was a pretty darn good matchup, but then Lane won some key matchups too on some pass plays that they needed. So including one where he looked like he just clotheslined them.
Hey, guess another one that's really, really intriguing too, where Von Miller hit him with a spin move. Bro, he reacted so great. The way he did like a drop step back inside and basically guided him back inside and stopped him from being able to get to the quarterback. It was fucking incredible. Excuse my French, y'all. This is how we lab, y'all. This is how we do this.
Now, the one thing with Lane is he's such a technician. It's really hard to expect anybody to beat him with technical skills and with finesse. Now, luckily for Khalil Mack, he isn't the most finesse player. The reason now let me start it back. Khalil Mack isn't the most finesse player in the world. He is straight, just raw power.
Brute strength.
That's really the only way to beat Lane Johnson. It's just that you're not going to beat Lane Johnson consistently with just raw power. But what you see is the people who have the most success against Lane are guys who can just straight up bull rush him and get into his pads, get into his chest, and just move him.
He was still able to recover here.
And I got another play to show you, Vic, that you're just gonna just be amazed by Lane's technique, his fundamentals, his balance, his leverage, his ability to just not panic at all. Now they got him on a hold on this play before that, because at the very end right there, he does kind of grab him.
That's still a shaky call, man.
I don't like that call in that situation because at the end of the day, Khalil Mack is not on the ground because of anything other than he's getting his ass blocked to the ground.
Right, like the tackle is not going to know when the quarterback is going to scramble. His back is towards the quarterback.
Right.
So it's not like he blatantly held him. He was still performing his block. He was still trying to get him on the ground. So
they were just blocking on his pancakes. That's all. You see, hey, how you pushing somebody down, looking like you see the flag and you got your hands up? Like, what are you talking about?
Right. And like Mo said, man, this he's not the most finesse type of pass rusher. You don't see many moves with his hands and stuff like that. He believes in brute
Look at
strength.
that slide step, man. That slide step is incredible.
He's got that brute strength, and he's also got he can move his body. He's very agile for a big pass rusher. But I mean, Nate Johnson, just his lower body is just as strong too.
And I mean, just look at Lane Johnson's positioning. Like, look at his body. Look at just where he is. You can't beat him. You're not beating him. See, he gets his hands on him. He tries to do a swim move. Doesn't. I mean, not a swim move. A rip move.
Yep.
And it has no chance. It has absolutely no chance.
And you see that position. You see that position that that Lane is in. We call it the power position in the strength and conditioning world. You got your hips and your knees are all bent at about a 45-degree angle. That keeps your body low. That keeps your strength in your hips and things like that from the ground up. Just perfect positions, man. Just
look at how
go by the quarterback.
And then you see how he gets attached to him and he drives him.
Mm-hmm.
He drives him to the other side. I mean, this is, like I said, this is Khalil Mack, man. This ain't nobody else, man. This is the return of the Mack, man.
Yeah. Two more plays.
Not that return of the Mack that they did yesterday with Booker McFarland and them.
Yo, that was bull job. I hated that. Don't disrespect Khalil that way.
No, yeah, don't do that. Marlon Mack is not Khalil Mack, and he doesn't get a song.
Look at that! Look at how he was able to recover there, yo. He drove him back a little bit because of the speed that he's going, and he's able to anchor again. Boom, drop his hips.
I mean, he literally anchors here. Like this, you could just. This is amazing.
Yeah, it was like he said, nope, nope.
And once he slowed him down, then that's when he's gonna try to slam you.
Hey man, this is when he stopped him right there. All I hear in my head is, "Don't die, Willis, don't die."
Yeah, right. Again, this is just amazing. Right there, sinks it, got him.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great matchup, man. Because if Lane is not on his A game, it's gonna give that Philly offense some issues.
I'm sorry. Did somebody say A game? Now listen. Here's the thing. The great thing about the lab is sometimes you just get a dream matchup, right? And this is two grown men who are professionals at their craft going at it the only way they know how to go at it. We're just going to run this play, and then I'm going to run it back. And Vic, you could just – and this is the first time you're seeing it, and I'll kind of like it because I want the people to see your natural reaction to this play. All right, Kelsey, snap the damn ball. Thank you.
You got to call the line protection.
Mac wins, Lane wins, Mac wins, Lane wins.
He drove him back. He drove him back a couple feet on that one.
He did.
He had to recover with about 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, 5.
Yeah. He walked him right into the quarterback.
But I'm gonna tell you this, right? Let me just run it back. Right there. 99% of the time, most tackles are about to be put on their ass.
Yes. Yes.
When he gets you in that position.
Yes.
And the fact that Lane Johnson, just look at the position his body is in right now. And then right there, he's just able to plant that back foot and regain all the leverage.
Quick feet.
Yep.
Balance. That's great balance.
I mean, if y'all don't understand why film over feelings, I don't even know what else to tell you, man. This is art at its finest right here. Whew, boy. All right, so showed y'all some film. I'm about to flip the screen, so y'all just gotta be patient.
who was the right tackle that got slammed yesterday in the Colts Texans game? Yo, oh my God, somebody got put on his ass for with a similar pass rush like that. And again, the Colts were just not able to. I mean, the Texans were not able to stop anything the Colts did defensively. Man, it was pretty impressive for a team that has not been known for defense for a long time right now.
Right. Who is the tackle? The right tackle, right?
Yeah, right tackle for the Texans.
Wow, drawing a blank. But all right, so we showed y'all some film there. We showed y'all some of the matchups. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna just give a little X Factors matchup. I'm gonna start with me. With my X Factor matchup was gonna be in the Bears Eagles game with Tariq Cohen versus Malcolm Jenkins. Tariq Cohen does a lot of things out of the backfield. He runs routes. He's at the checkdowns. They do a lot of screens with him. They scheme him into the game plan. He's a very vital part of the game plan of the offense. And really, he's obviously, as we talk about with so many other running backs and quarterbacks, he is the security blanket for Mitch. And Malcolm Jenkins, as we saw in that Super Bowl last year, he did a phenomenal job on James White several times and really was a key part in that win because while Brady threw for 500 yards, there were a couple of plays where they should have gotten. And the reason they didn't get it, one of the reasons was Malcolm Jenkins' ability to cover James White. And I think that's going to be huge in this game is limiting Tariq Cohen's ability to catch the ball and do something with it after it. So Malcolm Jenkins versus Tariq Cohen is my key X Factor matchup. Other than the matchups that we looked at, any X Factors that you're looking at today?
The X Factor for me today is going to be the linebacking core versus the offensive line. The linebacking core of the Los Angeles Chargers against the offensive line, of course, of the Baltimore Ravens. I want to see how they're going to come downhill and attack. I need you guys in attack mode. I say it all the time. I use my Transformer reference. I need to see Optimus Prime out there. I need to see Autobots in pursuit. We need all hands on deck. Hit them in the mouth consistently, effectively, efficiently, and disgustingly.
All right, Vic, any X Factor matchups for you?
I'm thinking about Eddie Jackson versus that run pass option that the Philadelphia Eagles like to deploy. I think he's going to be a factor in that. His ability to read, the offenses and things like that, and not only like read, but like he reacts well. You see how he's quick to get into passing lanes. He is a turnover type of free safety. So his matchup against that pass offense is more specifically against Zach Ertz. I think is going to be fun to watch, especially on film after the games this week.
All right, now it is time for the predictions. So we're just going to go through the predictions now, and our fellas, final thoughts on each game, and then predictions. We're going to start with the Chargers and Ravens. That is the early matchup. The over/under is 43. The Vegas, man, Vegas. Shout out to anybody who had Dallas plus 2.5 yesterday, or who had Seattle plus 2.5 yesterday. I'm sure you were very happy with that result. 2.5 is the same point spread in this game. Over under is 43, as I stated. Vic, I'm gonna kick it back to you. Final thoughts and predictions on this football game.
Like Germ said, man, those linebackers, not only the linebackers, but Derwin James are going to be important to containing this run. And then we talking about containing, like, we talking about they got to hold them to like 125 yards. Because if it goes anywhere north of that, the Ravens might win this game convincingly. Okay. I'm gonna go Ravens. I'm gonna go Ravens 27-23. I just think that they're going to be too much for the Chargers offensively. Phillip is just too inconsistent with some of his passing, especially towards the end of the game. So I think the Ravens defense will do enough to stop him. So 27-23 Ravens.
True man.
Man, okay. The last time they played, they held them to 202 yards, I believe, on passing yards, which was the first 200-yard game of Lamar's career, and then they had 159 total on the ground. And that equated to around 360, 350. That they the 363, I say 350 because 350 in that range is where you want to be as a defense for
Right.
total offense. Overall, I think the Chargers played bad offensively, but they played well enough defensively to win the game. Offensively, though, Phillip Rivers, just like Vic said, is so inconsistent. But this feels like one of those games that Phillip Rivers himself is going to find a way to win. However, deep down in my gut, I could be just hungry. I don't know. Could be bad grits. I want to roll with the Ravens today, deep in my soul, because I just feel like this is all set up for them to go to New England next week. But I'm not gonna go with the bad grits. Give me the Chargers today. I think the Chargers put up 30 points on this Ravens defense today. Give me the Chargers 30, the Ravens 20.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna go with the Baltimore Ravens, to be honest with you, and I think they're gonna win this game in a similar fashion as the last time. To me, the Ravens defense is above exceptional. We understand that their safeties can be a little slow to react in the passing game, but they are still very pivotal to their success, and their linebackers and their ability to run their speed. And I'm not just talking about their coverage linebackers. I'm talking about their edge linebackers as well, with Judon and Terrell Suggs when he's in there. And then you got Zadarius Smith and Brandon Williams, who, as I've stated multiple times, is a bull. The reason I took the Colts yesterday was, yes, they had the quarterback, but I also felt like they had the better beef. You see the shirt, no beef, no Lombardi. The Ravens have the better beef on both sides of the football. Give me the Ravens to win this game as well and set up for a juicy, juicy matchup with the Criminal Enterprise. Next game, speaking of juicy matchups, I mean, something about Nick Foles, man. There's just something about Nick Foles. We tried to warn y'all, do not let these folks get in. But Vegas, I don't know if they know something or if Vegas, it's hard to just really tell what Vegas is thinking. They have the Eagles as 6.5-point underdogs. The over-under is 41.5. Germ, final thoughts and who you got on this game?
Man, I don't want to pick this game, dude. I just don't want to. Like, I don't want to pick Mitch Trubisky. Let me just say, make sure we state to be clear. I don't want to pick Mitch Trubisky, and I sure as hell don't want to pick Nick Foles. I don't want to pick either. The Bears have the best defense available right now. It is what it is. The Bears also have the ability, if they choose to utilize Jordan Howard and have a power running game. You mix in Tariq Cohen, mix it up, and you use that toy, the talented offensive young player or youngster, as I call him. I did that all on a live session, freestyle. Don't worry about it. Don't trip. He ain't through him yet. But give me.
He wasn't prepared.
No, it's not that I wasn't prepared. I just really been fighting with this game since the matchup came out.
Yeah.
Because I can see the Bears winning because of turnovers, but I can see Nick Foles throwing for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, and they blow the Bears out. So, all right, you know what? I'm going with give me the Eagles.
Yo, I have never seen Germ so stumped.
Dude, I just don't. Dude, give me the Eagles.
All right.
The logic of why I'm going to pick the Eagles, I think the Eagles can run the ball. I think they will be able to run the ball enough to create everything they need to. But also, I think that the defensive line, the way that they're going to be able to pressure Trubisky today is going to be important.
Yeah.
If they get the better beef, I'm gonna go with the no beef, no Lombardi phrase of the day. We just showed Lane Johnson. I'm not gonna disrespect Lane Johnson and pick against him this week. Give me them this week. Give me the Eagles 24, the Bears 13.
Wow. All right. Coco?
I'm gonna go opposite, man. I'm gonna flip that a little bit. I think Lane will be able to contain Mac enough, but I think that the Bears defensively just they're good against the run for the most part. I think they'll have enough to slow down the Philadelphia run game, and but I think that the Bears are very opportunistic when it comes to creating turnovers and things like that. I think they'll be able to do that. They have the speed defensively, and I think they'll have a score defensively. So I'm gonna take them 23. Let's go 23 to 17 on
Okay.
this one. I think they'll have enough defensively to slow down Nick Foles in that passing game.
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, look, I think both of you brought up a lot of good points. To me, here's the thing, right? If the Eagles win this game, it's going to be off of one thing and one thing only. They tackled well. And I'm not joking. If the Eagles tackle well, they'll win this football game. I think the fact that Lane Johnson can slow down Khalil Mack is also the biggest story of this, is going to be the biggest story of this game. That's going to be the matchup that I'm going to be watching nonstop. So, yeah, I'm taking the Eagles. I am taking the Eagles. We told y'all don't let these folks get in. I'm taking the Eagles. I think they have enough. I think Josh Adams can, as long as they give him the ball 20, 25 times, it doesn't even matter. He could have 25 carries for 60 yards, and they'll be fine. As long as you find a way to make Khalil Mack and those guys stay on the field, quick tempo, get them tired, get them worn out, some things will open up in the fourth quarter. And ultimately, I think coaching and just a team that knows how to finish is ultimately what's going to help them win this football game. So that about wraps it up, y'all. We didn't want to keep y'all too long. I hope y'all enjoyed this show. We're going to be doing a lot more things of this nature where we share the screen and y'all basically just get in the lab with us the way that we do it. And any insights, any inputs, any comments, suggestions, concerns, questions that y'all may have, y'all shoot them. We are open to it. You see the uniforms, no beef. Stand up so y'all can see this one. No beef, no Lombardi, film over feelings, trap. Go on the website, viewsfrom22.com. We got blogs, we got podcasts, and obviously visit the store where you can get all this merchandise. Petty 22, you get 10% off. Smash that like button. Leave a comment, like, subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Views from the 22, the group, the community page. We're on Twitter, Views22. We're on Instagram, Views_22. And hey, soon enough, we'll be on your TV screen. Enjoy the games. True, take us home.
2-2.